Hello and welcome. My name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. Welcome to another Friday knit chat. Hope you are well and that you've had a good week. Today will probably be a bit of a shorter episode. I have got one main project to talk about and a book, and they've been my main focuses this week. A book, knitting and reading has heavily featured this week, and it's half term, so I've not had school run, not had college run, and it's meant that I've had a bit more time for knitting. I don't work quite as much in the holidays, so it means I get a bit more time for knitting in that way as well. So yeah, it's been mainly focused on my other loops sweater, and the other things that I want to talk to you about today is, I don't know if you saw my ranking my hand knit sweaters video that I put up on Tuesday. A few of those I did mention in there that I want to try to fix or make more wearable, and I'm going to talk to you about the first one that I want to do. I'm also going to talk to you about a few future plans and a couple of things that I want to do before I get the Lyra blouse on the needles. So we'll start with the first, well, only project I've worked on this week, because this is all I've knit on. It seems to be knitting very fast. I've just had it on the needles, I think just over a week now. And something on it there. This yarn is an absolute dream to knit with. If you notice how drapey it is super lightweight. And after knitting this very heavy sweater, it's been a dream to have this on the needles. I'm loving knitting with this yarn. I already am thinking about using it again in a different colour, because I'm not sure if red is my colour, but you can tell me in the comments. Yeah, but it's nice to have one red sweater, and it's something I can wear during the festive season, which will be very, very nice. Yeah, it's a lovely, lovely yarn, and I'll show you what it is. I've got this stored in my lovely gingerbread man bag from Tea Cake and Makes. And this is the actual yarn. You can see that, hopefully you can see the fuzz on it. It's an absolutely beautiful colour of red. And this is the tag. It is onling, and it's a 75% superfine wool and then 25% angora. 50 grams is 180 meters. Knits up absolutely beautiful. I was worried about the fabric being too open, but that's not been a problem at all. And I've had to go up a needle size, so from a 4mm needle, which is what's called for in this pattern for the main fabric, I've had to go up to a 4.5. That's quite common for me because I am a tighter knitter. And yeah, I was knitting away on this. So you knit your back panel first, then you pick up stitches for your front panels, and then joining the round. After doing that, I then added my neckline, and then I picked up stitches, and I'm now working on the first sleeve. Now, what I do want to mention is I'm enjoying the pattern. It's pretty well written. All the details are there that you need, but there's a few things missing that I think will be helpful for beginners. I've done this construction before a few times. Now, I didn't read forward in the pattern, so partly it's me to blame in that I could have done that, and then I've done a couple of things. So in a lot of these a few of these constructions that I've done, you put markers in your cast on line, and the reason you do that is so that you know when you're picking up stitches for the front that you're going to be picking them up in the right bits, and you get the right number of stitches over the right amount of fabric. Now, this pattern didn't ask you to do that, so I was a little bit, when I got to it, I was like, it's all right when you're picking up from the armhole edge, that seems a lot easier, but then when you're going to have to sort of guesstimate when you pick up stitches this way, it's a little bit more difficult. And I would have appreciated those markers in. And I can imagine that if you're a beginner, that would be difficult to get right. Also, the neckline, there wasn't a pickup rate, which I do prefer to have a pickup rate. There was just a number of stitches to pick up. And although in the sleeves it does give you a 2:3 ratio for pickup there, so that is a bit better. Now, I did my front and backs and joined under the arms, knit my neckline. And if you look at the neckline, and you've been here before, you will know that I made, and it looks funny on here. It's very hard to hold actually, this construction, and to show you. But you might, it knits up lovely, and I think the neckline in this yarn looks very, very neat. But you will be thinking to yourself, yeah, I think she might have been worried about that. And I was, because I don't like a neckline that comes up too far here. I like it to sit just under my neck there, or it does tend to irritate me. So I was a little bit worried. So I put off trying it on and decided, in my wisdom, I should know by now, shouldn't I? But I think I've been lucky, a lucky escape on this occasion. So I decided to knit the sleeve and ignore the fact that the neckline looked very narrow. So I'm knitting along, and I got to a point where I'd finished my decreases on my sleeve and I needed to try on to check my length. So I went ahead and tried it on, and you know what? I am so pleased with this neckline. I cannot tell you. Lucky escape, happy accident, I'm not sure. But it comes perfectly just under my neck. Now, if it stretches out on blocking, I'm absolutely fine with that, because it just means it'll be a bit wider, and I'll be happy with that as well. But at the moment, I've tried it on and I was pleasantly surprised that it absolutely sits beautifully. I do think this will grow. It is giving me superwash, bit stretchy yarn vibes. So, but I'm not worried about that. It's a cozy oversized sweater. I have been cautious on the sleeves, although if you see them in the picture, they are right down to the end of the fingers, I think. So I'm just going with what feels right. I don't think it's going to be long before this is off the needles. I think I've got this ball left, and I think I've got, oh, is there another knot in there? Yeah, that's one thing I would say, is that there's not been many yarns over my last few years of knitting, well, being back into knitting, that I've found a lot of knots in. I've had a couple in these, not that it's bothered me, but it surprised me when I got to them, because I've not had them. But yeah, I've just attached this ball, and I think I've got 2 left in the cupboard, but I could be mistaken with that. Hopefully I have got 2. But you know, I've nearly done this sleeve, and so I've got 1 sleeve and the rest of the body to do. So I think I should be absolutely fine with that. And yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how it's turning out. Like I say, I recorded that video and put that up on Tuesday, and I was like thinking to myself, I've talked about in this video how much I do not like necklines that are up here, that I've got sweaters in my wardrobe that I don't wear because they're up there, and I've got a project on my needles, and I'm not trying it on because I'm worried that the neckline is going to do that. Yeah, and thankfully now I've tried it on, and I think it's going to be absolutely fine. And it's the first, is it the first crew neck? Well, there's not many crew necks that I've found that fit me well and that I'm happy with. So let's see how this sweater turns out in the end, and I'll be able to show you. Hopefully it'll be done by next week's Friday chat. Is that being too ambitious? Let's see how much knitting I get done this weekend. Now I'd like to talk about, on the back of the video that I've just been saying that I did on Tuesday, I had 6 sweaters that I had hand knit that I discussed in that video. I think it was 6, and there was 3 of those that I felt I wanted that weren't quite right, and I don't reach to in my wardrobe, that I wanted to make some alterations to. So I had some lovely comments and suggestions for what to do. And the first one that I've decided that I want to alter is this one. Now I'm definitely going to shorten the sleeves. I'm going to and also what I am going to do is I'm just going to do a sewn bind off, not a tubular. I am going to take it back. Something on my sleeve there, I don't know what that is. I definitely want it to end where the ribbing is now. So basically I need the ribbing to be like that. And then I think it'll be the right length. So I'll just pick up stitches there, rip it out and re-knit that. And then instead of doing a tubular bind off, which you do the 2 setup rows for, if I'm remembering it the right way around, I'm just going to do the sewn bind off, which hopefully will give me a bit more stretch. That's an easy fix. And then AJ was making the suggestion of folding the neckline down. Crying shame, because I did like a tubular cast on, or whatever you call it, that Jessie made. If you haven't done the Jessie May Designs pattern, her cast on for necklines is stunning. Really enjoy doing it, and it's great. And it's very stretchy. It's beautiful. She suggested I sew it down, sorry. So what I was thinking was, I might not like the look of that, but what I could potentially do is tack it down or pin it down. Well, pinning it down might not be a good idea. Yeah, tack it down in a couple of places, just with a cotton thread, and then try it on and see how I feel about it before I do anything permanent. But if it makes it a more wearable garment, then that's going to be better than having a sweater there that I don't wear. So that's my options for this. This is a Cozy Classic Raglan by Jessie Made Designs. If you want to see more about what I've thought about some of my other knits, you can go and have a look at that video. And that will be down in the comments, no doubt. So I just wanted to talk briefly about the book that I've been reading. So working on this and at the same time reading this a lot. Managed to get a good few hours reading yesterday, which was lovely yesterday afternoon. House was totally peaceful, and I've not got much left to read on it, which is such a shame because I'm loving this series. This is the second book, Mate. Bride is the first book, and yeah, first time I've read anything by Ali Hazelwood. Absolutely loving it. This is fantasy, romance, werewolves mainly. And yeah, really would highly recommend it if you like fantasy romance. I love the way she writes. Very close second, these books, to One Dark Window, which I very much enjoyed. And it does make me want to go and look at, because I didn't realise that some of the, she does a lot of romance, not fantasy romance, and I'm definitely tempted to give them a whirl. So for future plans, I wanted to talk about the fact that, as I've said, I think it was last week, I showed you I've done a swatch for my Lyra blouse. I'm hoping to cast that on after this. But in between, I think I'd like to tackle 1 or 2 of my whips before I start the Lyra blouse, which I'm very much looking forward to knitting. Again, hopefully that's going to be a lovely lightweight project on the needles, with it being the blend of fibres it is. So I'm thinking there's 2 options for me to pick up, and it's these 2 projects. And I might actually look at doing both of these. It'll probably take me a week or 2 to get them both done, but it will just mean that then I've got 2 projects off the needles, and then I can start on that Lyra blouse, which will be nice. And yeah, I'd like to do my second ribbed sock from Summer Lee, and this sock is I bought it in the Sailor set. I'm not really sure what the pattern name is, but it's a broken rib. And I would just like to get the second sock done and put into my box of socks. And then oh no, I've brought the wrong project out here. So it's not this project that I wanted, but looking at it now, can you see what's in here? Yeah, that is my forgotten about. How nice does that look? I do want to get back on with this, but I think the second project, I'll just get it now, won't be one moment. So much for being organised before recording. I thought I had all my stuff piled next to me here, but this is the project that I think I would like to do. So I'm not sure whether I'll do the sock first or this first. I am enjoying knitting on garments, and this is my Daft Days cardigan by Rebecca Clow. Very, very pleased with how this is looking. As you can see, I've done one sleeve. The problem with this was the sleeve isn't long enough. Now, when and I think that might be because my row gauge is probably off. Rebecca Clow is a very loose knitter compared to me, and the recommended number of stripes for the sleeve, which was, I think, 18, hasn't been enough to give me the length I would like for this. So I need to essentially do 2 to 3 more stripes in the colour before doing my cuff, because I didn't want to do a massive long cuff. Now, that entails me ripping this sleeve out. So AJ had made a great suggestion, and I've not got around to doing it, but I am going to do it. And that is to pick up this sleeve, start with the colour that I'm hoping to start with, and then go back and rip that sleeve out once I've done it, which I thought was a great suggestion. So that is probably what I'm going to do. I had a problem when I first did the first sleeve in that it was way too thin. Way too tight on my arm, and I wasn't happy with it. So this sleeve saga is going on for quite some time, but I want to get this right. I know I've put this away a few times and it's been a slow going process, but hopefully that means a finished garment will be something wearable in my wardrobe. Now, the main yarn is Vilcalana Peruvian Highland wool in a dark grey colour, and I got that inspiration from Birch and Lily, because she has done a version of this with a darker, because I think she was test knitting this pattern and did a darker version. And the lovely, beautiful stripes are from my For the Love of Yarn advent from a couple of years ago. And yeah, it's been slow going, it's been a long process, but I am trying my best to make sure that I end up with a garment there that I love and want to wear. I'm envisaging that, although that's a cardigan, I'm probably just going to be wearing it as a sweater. And I think, to be fair, thinking about it, looking at my basket, my whips are getting down nicely now. If I can get those 2 off the needles, then after the Lyra, I can probably then pick up this again and get that finished, which will be very nice. And yeah, I think that's all for today. So short and sweet, but I hope you have enjoyed it. I just dropped my iPad on the floor, so I'm hoping I've not done anything to that. No, it seems all right. And yeah, so hope you are having a good winter, autumn. We had a lovely cozy weekend last weekend, so that's why I got loads of knitting done, lots of reading done, which I very much enjoyed. I did post a picture on Instagram saying my perfect Friday night with my book on the bookstand and my knitting on the go. Yeah, I really hope this will be finished by next week, but that might be a bit ambitious. And then I want to get on with a few of those whips before I start the light brows. So let me know in the comments what you're knitting on at the moment. I love to hear about that and any pattern suggestions you've got. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.